Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. All right, so Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, has issued this statement that if the United States and NATO places certain offensive weapons in Ukraine, that this would be a red line for Russia. And this is highly understandable. As Vladimir Putin has stated, these weapons being placed in Ukraine would place those weapons within a 5 to 7 minute transit time to Moscow. Imagine if, that is closer than if there were offensive weapons placed in Canada on the Canadian border or the Mexican-U.S. border. So basically, that distance would be equivalent to Russia having an offensive weapons system placed in Puerto Rico or Cuba. And there, it has been the United States and NATO keep on talking about Russia threatening to invade Ukraine. Russia has made it very clear they have absolutely no intent to invade Ukraine. If they were going to do this, why wouldn't they have done so now? Are they going to wait for us to place more weapons and for NATO to become more involved in Ukraine and then do so? No. Actually, NATO in the long term has refused Ukrainian membership in NATO. They've said that they're not going to defend Ukraine. So this is a non-issue. Russia is not being aggressive toward Ukraine. What Russia has asked is that Ukraine abide by the agreement that was reached years ago between Ukraine and Russia. So that treaty was termed the Minsk Accords. And there was first one, and then it was revised a year or two later. And Russia has adhered to the Minsk Accords and is merely asking for Ukraine, Kiev, to adhere by the Minsk Accords as well. And yet, Ukraine has repeatedly, continuously violated the Minsk Accords. Crimea did not attempt to invade Ukraine. And what do you call it? Hold on a second. The Maidan, the overthrow of the democratically elected administration of Ukraine in 2014, I believe, which was a violent overthrow that burned down the parliament and put the neo-Nazis, literal neo-Nazis, in charge that wield swastikas that are in charge of Ukraine. This is who the United States administration, the United States government, is backing. The first thing that they did after taking power was to make it illegal to speak Russian in the Ukraine. Well, the people in numerous parts of Ukraine speak Russian, including those in Crimea. and the Donbass region. So this was a large part of why Crimea voted in referendum to withdraw from Ukraine and rejoin Russia. And this is also a large part of why the people in the Donbass region, which are being bombarded, literally bombarded, bombed, by Ukrainian forces. They want to withdraw. They're not trying to invade Ukraine. They just want out of Ukraine. They don't want to be under that government. Russia is not threatening. They are not conducting any war games or training outside of their own territory. They have been conducting their own military training in Russia. They're not putting weapons in Canada or Cuba or Puerto Rico or Mexico, but we're putting weapons in Ukraine and threatening Russia. So when Putin said that it was a red line, if we put these offensive weapons in Ukraine, which NATO said they're not going to do, but Biden has already said that he will not respect. He said it in no uncertain terms. He will not respect those red lines. Period. That's it. This is an overt threat to Russia. You cannot blame Russia for feeling threatened by weapons that have a 5-minute transit time to Moscow. Moscow is not just the capital of Russia. You look at a map, most of the population of Russia is situated in 3 cities. And even if if a nuclear weapon hit Moscow, it would poison all 3 cities with radiation. So this is an overt threat against Russia. And Russia has responded peacefully every step of the way. No, they did not. There was no armed conflict regarding Crimea. The Russian military is not in the Donbass. They are supplying arms to the separatists in the Donbass to defend themselves, for the people in the Donbass to defend themselves against Ukrainian aggression. But they are not trying to cross any lines to invade Kiev. The United States is trying to wage war against the entire planet. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, Venezuela, you name it. Name a country that is not a vassal state to Washington. You can't. If a country is not a vassal state to Washington, then they have been declared our enemies. It is entirely possible to have political disagreements with another country and not view them as an enemy. That's what diplomacy is about. Diplomacy is not about placing weapons in other countries that are led by literal freaking Nazis. This is what our government represents. As becoming a threat. And for what? To increase military spending so that military contractors can get richer, so that we can steal resources that don't belong to us. Eventually, who the hell are we going to sell those resources to? If everyone is our enemy, then who are we going to sell these things to? Anyway, this should be a red line to the American people. We don't need weapons in Ukraine. We don't need American troops in Ukraine. We don't need our warships in the South China Sea. These should be a red line to you. Not just to Russia, not just to China. These should be red lines to all of us. Anyway, share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.